get to have a week off now for spring break, and then come back and have 4 great weeks of practice. We'll review that install for 2 days, and then scrimmage that first Saturday we're back and see where we're at that point in time. Great competition out here today. You can tell that these kids love to compete. It was right there on that fine line of exactly where you wanted to, and it was neat to see them compete. Also really stressed today, as you saw, one of the things that I think is going to be extremely important to us to identify is our punt returner and kick returner. We've been so blessed, basically the past 3 years to have a Dory, and now we have to find that next guy. So you saw a lot of that work today, and we'll continue that through spring to try to identify who is the best at both spots. So injury-wise, Daniel, we held out limited again with a shoulder. We'll see exactly where he's at after spring break. We pulled Jalen Green with a little bit of a hamstring, just preventative. I would expect he'd be back after spring break. And Rasheem Green with a little bit of a toe there late. Nothing critical. I would expect him back after spring break. With that, I'll take any questions that you got.
The first injury was
Daniel Amortibebe, shoulder injury.
And Josh still?
No, Josh has just got an illness. He's got a stomach illness,
okay.
And he will be pushed back in once we get back off of spring break. But Daniel's got a shoulder.
Okay.
How do you handicap the returner position in battle right now?
You look at the guys out there. One of the things that Zach, I've said that before, I really like that we do is we recruit two-way guys and guys that can return. So when you look at a Jack Jones and you look at a Keyshawn Young, you look at Deontay Burnett, Bellis Jones, they're guys that could play either side of the ball, but they also are guys that are returners. And as we've seen, some guys just have a knack. Both skill sets are very different. A punt returner can attack a coverage, dance in a hole, and go. Where on kickoff return, what do you see? It's fearless, full speed. You really don't stop in the hole. And if you find a guy that can do it both, that's rare. We had one in a Dory, so we may find one for each, or if there's a kid that could do both, we will. But we're going to make it a daily emphasis, as you've seen this week. The first 2 practices, we just identified who looks natural at catching the ball. Today we were trying to identify who looks natural running after the catch.
Clay, you've been coaching quite a few years now, and where would you put a guy like Marlon Tui Peloto as far as being ready to make an impact as a freshman compared to some of the other guys you coach?
Yeah, I tell you what, I was talking to Clancy today about just where his progress is right now, and where Clancy's really impressed with how football instinctive he is and how fast he's picking everything up. Where I'm impressed is just his physical strength and conditioning. Usually what ends up happening is you get a freshman coming out of high school and they're dog tired, or they're not. This guy is in great shape. Credit to his high school program, and his mindset of coming in here, our winter workouts with Ivan Lewis. He's just done a great job of preparing and studying, and it's paying off out here. He doesn't look like a freshman, so he's a guy that's going to be definitely in the mix for competition going into fall camp if he continues on this pace. There's no doubt in my mind.
You said the other day you wanted Jack Jones to play some offense.
Yes.
At what point, when are you going to mix him into the offense?
Yeah, you're going to probably see, we're going to look at Pie a little bit when we come back. And then about week 3, Scott, we're going to start mixing Jack in there. We want to give him 2 really good weeks of being able to focus on that corner position, and then start mixing him in, kind of like we did at Dory. Not total commitment to a full practice, but segments in practice where things that he can do well, and that'll happen week 3.
Selvi Olicity, he was playing with that groin, but it looked like he's still
fast person.
Was that impressive?
Yeah,
he play with the groin like today?
Yeah, you could feel the speed, and he has a mental toughness that I really appreciate. Him and Mike Pittman really showed me something today, because both aren't all the way healthy, and they really stepped up. And that's what I love about these kids. They want to compete so much. They don't want to be out. They know how competitive it is to earn jobs out here, that they don't want to sit out, and they push through. And now we were able to make it through this week without a major injury, knock on wood, and we'll take a week off, regroup, get fresh again, and push again.
Are there any other guys who you're unsure of their position that they're working at something in one spot now, but that could change in the coming weeks?
Yeah, I think offensive line. We're trying out several different things to find the best five and train guys multi-positionally. Roy Hemsley is trained as a tackle and a guard, as you've seen. Frank Martin is trained as a guard and an extra center right now. Andrew Voorhees is a guy that could be a tackler or a guard. So the offensive line, we're just trying to find that mix a little bit, just in case, because you look up and what happened. Nico and Toa are out. You better have some answers, and you better train some guys in multi-position. So if somebody goes down, you're able to put a guy in that's at least been trained in it. So I would say offensive line is probably right now where I see the most change of positions.
Is Andrew a little maybe farther along than you might have expected?
I'd say all 5 kids that are here right now. I think of Taylor Katoa, he's not acting like a freshman. Andrew's not acting like a freshman. Marlon, Jack Sears is actually knows where to go with the ball. That's a rare thing right now. Damon Johnson, to be out there for the first time, and it really is looking like a vet already. I've been impressed with all 5 kids. They've brought a seriousness out here to compete, and have brought a want to, and the future's bright for them.
Could Trevon Sidney also end up possibly on defense?
No, right now he's going to work offense. I wish we made kind of that same commitment we did with Ajane. Ajane had a hip impingement that we went ahead and made a commitment to get it fixed. We did the same thing with Trayvon. He was able to make it through last season. As soon as the season ended, we fixed one side, and that takes a process of time, and then we just got done fixing the other. So we did both hips on him. Hopefully by training camp he's full speed, and we'll be back at wide receiver.
Do one more.
You guys are giving a lot of reps to Matt Fink. I'm wondering, what are you looking for from him in particular this spring?
Yeah, you know what I've been impressed with? He brings that same dynamic that Sam does, his creativity, and you've seen a little bit out here of being able to escape rush, keep the ball alive, and throw downfield. Made a great play in our team segment over here with pressure coming from the outside. Stepped up in the pocket very naturally, dodged the rush, kept his eyes downfield, and throw. That's what he has to be able to do. A lot of young quarterbacks will just lock in on the rush and take off, and he's really, over this past year, really developed being able to keep his eyes downfield. Scott, I'll let you finish off there.
With Trayvon, when you have both hip surgeries, like sometimes you're out a year or you can be situated. Is that a possibility?
No, I think that we did it early enough that we'll see where he is in training camp. We're expecting him to be ready for training camp, what the doctors are telling me. Obviously, when you're out for an extended period of time, it's just everybody heals different, but he should be able to contribute at least on the practice field by training camp. All righty, guys, thank you.